Butterflies and bees have been badly affected by the UK's unsettled weather this year, according to a study by the National Trust. This research also reveals that a decade of mild winters and wet summers have had a negative impact on a number of species, and that the fall in bee numbers could have a knock-on effect on other insects and birds. Sky's Gerrard Tubb has more.
Sunrise over a frosty last few days of 2016. But the stillness of the chill winter countryside masks what conservation groups are calling an alarming decline in the UK's wildlife. The National Trust says it's recorded 10 straight years of plants and animals struggling against unsettled weather and increasing human interference.
It's been a very, very mixed year weather-wise. In particular, we had an incredibly mild winter, which you might think would be a good thing. It wasn't. Things like the species like hedgehogs didn't hibernate properly, and also a lot of our butterflies and moths spend the winters as caterpillars. They should be conked out, comatose. No, they weren't. They were walking around wasting energy, and they perished in their millions.
The National Trust's 10th annual Weather and Wildlife Review puts much of the blame this year on the cold, wet spring. Meadow butterflies suffered as grass grew unusually quickly early in the season, and in places bumblebee numbers were down 85% as meadow flowers were crowded out. But on the plus side, a longer growing season has left hedgerow berries in abundance.
Over the last 50 years, over half the species in the UK have actually declined.
The Yorkshire Wildlife Trust took me round their Askham Bog Nature Reserve near York. They say the next big question is what happens to EU conservation subsidies paid to landowners.
Brexit's created a lot of uncertainty for the wildlife trusts and the other environmental organisations. We receive considerable grants to support wildlife and to support the environment. We don't know what's going to happen, and I think we're all hoping for a solution which can benefit wildlife in the long term.
The National Trust says 2016 is the end of an unsettled decade, and some of Britain's wildlife is finding it hard to cope. Gerrard Tubb, Sky News, York.